These glasses are so dirty, no wonder I can't see. Hi fans of high quality entertainment. A few videos ago, I asked my viewers, if you want to ask me a question, I'll answer it in an upcoming video, and this is the upcoming video. And so I chose some of the questions, the most interesting ones that won't hopefully bore you to death. And also, first of all, I want to mention I got a small package from M.A.S.H, who is also one of my members on Patreon. So thank you, Carl. And he gave me this nice card with words in it. Hi Larry, big fan of high quality entertainment since discovering a Yes related video of yours in 2013. That's a long time ago. I was intrigued by your Sparks videos and started giving them a chance in 2014. Took until 2017 for me to get them. Now they've been one of my favorite bands ever since. That's cool. I've wanted to send you these CDs as a thank you for Sparks for a while. Finally got your address and here they are. R. Stevie Moore is one of my all-time favorite musicians and songwriters. His dad is Elvis Presley's bass player. He's so underrated to me, and I think fans of the Beatles, Zappa, Mothers, Sparks would find lots to love in his discography. The seller I bought these two from assured me they've never been played. Okay, I'll double check that. I recommend listening to Phonography first, then Clack. The liner notes to Phonography have great bio info on RSM. My fave period of his music is 1993-1989. Happy listening. So thank you, Carl. And these are the two CDs. I have not played them yet. I've been busy, but I am going to be listening to them. And as I told Carl, there was a fan-based Sparks tribute album back in the 90s, and our Stevie Moore did a version of the Sparks song Here Comes Bob from their first album, and it was my favorite of all of the fan-based songs. It's excellent. So I'll look forward to hearing these. I'm just having a little wine. So first off, Jeffrey Fulguri asked, when are you getting a reaction channel? And is it going to be tangy with a medium Pepsi? That's funny. I do have a few reaction videos on YouTube, but like I keep saying, with YouTube and copyright, you can't play the music. Sometimes they even take down the video. That's why I've started the Patreon page, which most of you know about, so I won't go on about that anymore. Stefan L. Do you like any Swedish bands or artists? Perhaps you can do an album review of a Swedish band or artist. Well, I don't think I know any Swedish rock bands, except ABBA, which aren't necessarily rock. But ABBA are great. I enjoy ABBA's music, so I guess for now it's just ABBA. And like I always say, I've got so much music already here that I don't even get a chance to listen to. But I'm not against Swedish bands, I just haven't heard that many. Dino Dinez 42. How do you feel about funk artists like Funkadelic Parliament, since they've got weird energy like Frank Zappa? Excuse me. I've checked them out in the past, not recently, but is it George Clinton? Or is it Bill Clinton? But yeah, the music I've heard of them, I thought, yeah, it's kind of Zappa influenced or whatever, and I've enjoyed it. But I just haven't. I've never bought any of their stuff. So for funk artists, I also love James Brown. I don't have any CDs of James Brown. The one artist that, well, the two artists that I do have that are kind of funky are Ike and Tina Turner. I have one of their live CDs, and Sly and the Family Stone. Probably my favorite of the funky kind of artists. Terra Novelle Ma, or May, I don't know. These usernames are really hard to pronounce, like Canadian Studmuffin. Is there an album that you've wanted for a long time but still haven't got it? And do you have a favorite film soundtrack? I don't know about a film soundtrack, but you know, looking back, when Saturday Night Fever came out and then the Bee Gees got, you know, so popular that people back in the day got sick of them, and then of course Disco Sucks came out and whatever. But you know, looking back on it now, Saturday Night Fever was a damn good album with a lot of great music on it, including of course songs by the Bee Gees. So that's a pretty good soundtrack. Is there an album that you've wanted for a long time but you still haven't got it? These questions make you think. I'm starting to collect John Anderson's solo albums. I've got his first 2 albums, and I think the third one called Animate, I think it's on its way at some point. But I would like to get more of John Anderson's solo career. But besides that, I think I basically got everything that I want at the moment. I'm happy with it. Brogan Schwartz. I'll move this one. There, that's better. Larry, I'm a big fan. Thank you. Thank you very much. And ever since I started watching your videos on YouTube forever ago, I've wondered what your opinion are on 2 of my favorite bands, Crosby, Stills and Nash and Young and the Band. These groups made music that meant a whole great deal to me, the latter especially. What do you think of them? What are your favorite records? If you haven't listened to much, if any, of their albums, I think either would make an interesting ranking and review series, or possibly one-off first listen reviews for their bigger albums. I hope this reaches you. I'm sorry it didn't. And thanks for all the high quality entertainment. Just one second. Well, Brogan, I've actually talked about both bands in, you know, I've got a lot of videos, so maybe you missed them, but I have Crosby, Stills and Nash, which I love. And I have Deja Vu, which I love. And my favorite songs are Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, You Don't Have to Cry, Wooden Ships, Long Time Gone, Carry On, Deja Vu, Our House, and my all-time favorite of these 2 is Almost Cut My Hair. So yeah, I enjoy their music. As for the band, look what I got here. I've got music from Big Pink. I've got the band. I've got Stage Fright. And I've got Stage Fright. And I've got Cahoots. And I think I did a underrated albums video, and I said that this one is underrated. Back in the day when I bought this, in the early 70s, I just thought it was so-so. Life is a carnival, and When I Paint My Masterpiece I loved, and then the rest of it was just so-so. But now, I absolutely love this, and it's my favorite of the 4 albums, actually. I hope that answered your question. Hi Larry, I'm just wondering, do you prefer the Digipack packages or the jewel case packages on your CDs? You have some CDs on the Digipacks for more than 10 years. Doesn't it scratch your CDs even more on the Digipacks? I guess between this, you know, the case, they're kind of, and the plastic, sometimes they break and everything, and it's annoying, especially on the double CDs. And then the Digipack, I think I like the Digipacks better. I don't find that they scratch or anything. At least, you know, the way these work. So the CD is just laid there, and I guess there are some digipacks maybe where the CD would go inside. I don't know. But this one is the way I would like all CDs to be. But of course, with a nice booklet too, of course, like this one has. So I'm on Team Digipack. Kevin Shepard. Do you think older generations are too harsh on this generation's music? Things like there's no good rock music anymore or rap requires no talent to make are just some of the things I hear often that bother me. Don't let it bother you. It's silly, right? That's the way music is. People are always complaining and about today's music. They're complaining about the Beatles. They're complaining about Paul McCartney. They're complaining. It's what they do. And I just like what I like, and if somebody else doesn't care for it, it doesn't bother me. I know some people say you got to listen to some new bands or whatever. It's like, I'm happy with what I'm listening to. And these people in 20, 30, 40 years, they're still going to be listening to what they grew up with. They're not going to be listening to the latest band in 2050 for the most part. But yeah, there's still good music being made today. And I have nothing against rap music. It's just not my genre of music that I listen to. But for those that enjoy it, good. Everybody should try and get along. This is a good one, another one by Kevin Shepard. What's your favorite band you've gotten into because of Patreon requests? Lots of them. Well, I wouldn't say lots of them, but quite a few. I've done over 100 song requests. Some of my favorites. The Lemon Twigs, band from California. Megadeth is better than I thought they would be. I've done 3 songs of theirs. Renaissance, I was very impressed with the song by Renaissance that I listened to. Love, of course, which I had heard before, but this made me realize I had to get their one of their albums. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. I was really impressed with them. I'd like to hear more of their stuff sometime. Jeff Buckley, I was impressed with. The Mars Volta. Steven Wilson, I reviewed the song Drive Home, which I really liked. Infected Mushroom was pretty cool. Half Man, Half Biscuit. Yeah, and the other, I think the one band that I've never heard of before that really impressed me, and I've only heard 1 or 2 of their songs, is a band called Sleep. They remind me of early Black Sabbath, and at some point I want to at least review another one of their songs on Patreon, or maybe even a full album. So yeah, Sleep is probably the one band that I'm most impressed with. But I would say 95% of the songs I've reviewed on Patreon I've either really liked or loved, and there's only like 5% that were just, okay. So it's okay, the curtains are closed, they can't see me anyway. Yeah, so join Patreon and then make a song request. Benjamin James, what are some of your favorite TV shows of all time? Well, these days, I don't even have cable. I just watch Netflix and Prime Video and all that. I love documentaries, for the most part. But for back in the day, I was a fan of the early shows, the early All in the Family seasons, the early seasons. M.A.S.H. you know, there's so many TV shows, I can't even name them all. But I was more of, there was this one from the 70s called Fernwood Tonight. Also, America Tonight with Martin Mull. And it was hilarious. It was a takeoff on talk shows. And that's one of my all-time favorites. And then, of course, I never saw it when it was on TV, but when it moved to Netflix, I became a big fan of The Office. I just bought this today. So that's just a handful of TV shows I've enjoyed. Best Buddy Productions, or Production. Hi Larry, I was wondering if you had any guilty pleasure songs, like songs that you enjoy but are embarrassed to like them. Thanks. Nope. Because if I like a song, even if it's some cheesy song, there's this one song from the 60s, Rice is Nice by the Lemon Pipers. And, you know, it's kind of a cheesy song, Rice is Nice, but it's so catchy and joyful. I love it. And maybe somebody else would be embarrassed saying they like that song, but not me. I really like the song. Yeah, you shouldn't be embarrassed by what you like. I've been through that in the past, especially before the internet. When I was a Sparks fan, you had to be careful who you said, you know, or who you showed Sparks to, because most people, especially in this area, they were more of a AC/DC, Led Zeppelin and all that. So Sparks were a little wacky. Same with like Frank Zappa or Captain Beefheart. But now with the internet and YouTube, it's like, oh, I'm not the only fan of Captain Beefheart and Sparks. And yeah, and there's, you know, you get connections and everything. So, Dave S. Very good username and very simple to pronounce. He's got 6 questions. What's the best worst thing about your job that you do? At the moment, I'm on long-term disability, going through some, you know, insurance issues and everything, but I haven't worked for 2 months because of my neck and shoulder injuries, but except for the pain, I enjoyed my job, working at it. I don't mind working, unlike some people. What music bands do you dislike? I would say the top 3 that I'd rather not listen to are Guns N' Roses, Nickelback, and number 1 would be Bon Jovi, probably. If you're a fan of Bon Jovi, no disrespect, it's just, I don't want to listen to it. Will you ever stop buying CDs? No, I won't. How many CDs do you have? I don't know. I would say, because there's some on the other shelf now. I'll show you here. There's some CDs there. There's movies there. Movies there. And then CDs there that wouldn't fit there. Oh my God, that cupboard's open. And then the CDs there. So I don't want to count them. I don't know how many there are. maybe 400, 500. What do you dislike of Justin Trudeau? He's our Prime Minister of Canada. I know people, you know, it's politics, so I stay away from politics. So I honestly don't know anything, but I know that a lot of people don't care for him as the Prime Minister. And do you live on fast food? No, I don't. I actually, because I'm gluten-free, I have celiac disease, I have to be careful. I can't go to, you know, McDonald's and get a Happy Meal. No, I would say I eat fairly healthy overall. Home-cooked meals sometimes. Perry Vance, in your own opinion, what's your favorite Deep Purple song? Mine's Child in Time. Well, from the songs I know, I would say my favorite is probably Highway Star. But then again, Burn is pretty damn good. And Woman from Tokyo, too. And Hush. You know, just the popular songs are the ones I mainly know. And yeah. James Wilson. I've gotten back into buying vinyl records in the last 3 years after giving up on them in 1990. Yet I don't even currently have anything to play them on. It's more just owning them as collectibles. Same here. When was the last time you purchased a vinyl record? It was Sparks A Steady Drip Drip Drip, the colored vinyl. And it's in my bedroom where most of my box sets are. So, Pablo Diaz. Why do you seem to dislike 80s music production? I think it was a great decade in music. It was a great decade in music. And it's not all bad 80s production. It's just sometimes, with the drum machines and all that, replacing real drummers. And it's the 80s, so it's going to sound like 80s music. And production-wise, it's pretty well known that the 80s weren't the greatest decade overall for music production. But it's not to say there weren't great songs in the 80s or great production, because there was. Got over that one quickly. Jack Custer. We always get to see Larry Graves. But what other interest do you have if you're not listening to music? I like watching Netflix. I've got Netflix, I've got Crave TV, I've got Prime Video, and a lot of it is watching documentaries. I love documentaries. And it doesn't even have to be somebody that I'm, a big fan of. For instance, if there was this big documentary on Frank Sinatra, nothing against Frank Sinatra, but I don't have any of his music, I would watch the documentary and learn about his life, and I'd really enjoy it. And I also watch quite a few different YouTube channels. I love reaction channels. They're one of my favorites. That's about it. I don't have a life. But yeah, and of course, during the day, especially since I'm not working, a lot of my time is spent video editing, doing videos for Patreon and YouTube, and so I really don't listen to music during the day. It's only at night for an hour or two, or sometimes 3, when I really get to relax and listen to music, especially on the weekends. But yeah, music is number 1 or number 2. If you could turn back time, Chris Delisle. Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. If you could go back in time and somehow, through the same magic that allows stacks of music on desert islands and jails, be in charge of what the Beatles released, would you swap in Day Tripper, We Can Work It Out for 2 of the songs on Rubber Soul, Paperback Writer, Rain, for 2 of the songs on Revolver, or Strawberry Fields Forever, Penny Lane for 2 of the songs on Sgt. Pepper? Would you? If so, what tracks would you swap out? No, I wouldn't, because I would be changing history. I know there was talk when the Sgt. Pepper box came out of them putting Strawberry Fields Forever and Penny Lane on the album. And I'm glad they didn't. They still had it as part of the box set, but separately. And, yes, going back in time, it would have been nice when Sgt. Pepper was released if Strawberry Fields Forever and Penny Lane were part of the album. But that doesn't mean I would want a lesser song like Good Morning, or Lovely Rita to be taken off. So I'm happy with the way history is. Yeah. I need a drink. Wayne Kent. I've really gotten into Rush recently, and I would like to know your thoughts on them, like your favorite song and album. Rush are great. And they're Canadian. I bet you didn't know that. Yeah, they're three of the most talented musicians in rock music. They are way at the top. They're not my favorite band, but I have nothing against Rush. I love their music. I have 2 or 3 of their albums, but and I love their personalities, their humor. And Molly loves, of course, Alex Lifeson and his humor. And for those that have seen the documentary on them, and the 3 of them are at a restaurant and they're having wine and they're just being themselves and being very funny. And they're just great guys, and we love Rush. And my favorite song would be, I think I just love Working Man from their first album. And my favorite album would be I don't know. They have a lot of great albums. I guess maybe Moving Pictures. Cedric, is it Cedric? Price. Worst song you've ever heard. Mine would have to be We Built This City by Starship. That's a good one. But for a popular song, there's a song by Sparks. They did a cover version of Stevie Wonder's Fingertips, Part 2. And I hate it. One of the very few Sparks songs I dislike. Lenny Kravitz's version of the Guess Who's American Woman, I can't stand. And Guns N' Roses' Sweet Child O' Mine, I don't like. And then a lot of Bon Jovi songs. That's for starters. But if you like it, that's great. No disrespect to you liking it. I just don't care for it. Tricky Ricky 77, who is a Patreon member, and he's also a member of my channel. Tricky Ricky 77. 3 of my favorite bands are Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, and AC/DC. Out of the 3 bands, which would you say is your overall favorite? And out of those 3 bands, what is your favorite song if you could pick just one song? Oh, so you're saying one song from all, I get it. Not one song each, but one song. Make this difficult for the last question. Okay. I would say in order, my favorite bands would be Led Zeppelin, then Pink Floyd pretty close behind, and then AC/DC, who I also like a lot. And out of the 3 bands, my favorite song, they all have, see, like AC/DC, Whole Lotta Rosie, Pink Floyd, One of These Days, Wish You Were Here, Shine On You Crazy Diamond. It would have to be Led Zeppelin, and I don't know, there's just something about How Many More Times, the last song on their debut album, that I just never ever get tired of listening to. It still sounds so fresh today. So I guess that would be my pick. And that's it. This is going to be fun to edit. Yeah, but thank you all for the questions, and if I missed any, I apologize. I'll do this again sometime. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.